broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
AfterBuzz, it's your boy DJ Jesse Janedy here in studio with Shar, Jossell.
Hey guys.
We are here to cover E's new show, WAGS. Girl, I mean, I felt like I needed some Dayquil or something to keep me up.
Some caffeine.
I was like, anyone got an Adderall? Because I'm trying to step through this show, girl.
But it did pick up. It got good. It did pick up at one point.
It got
conversation worthy.
Yes. But I was waiting like 37 minutes into the show. If I hear athlete talk about this wedding one more time.
That was actually, I know this may sound sick to some of you all watching, but that was actually just a little bit of the comedic relief in this episode. Because
they be trolling
Bay
Ashley.
is tripping. When I say Bay, y'all know I'm talking about Ashley's fiance. He is fine to me. I say that week after week. What's his name? Deshaun. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about it. So Olivia and Natalie, they're working on the website, and they're talking about their font, and that was kind of the segue for their argument last week, where Olivia started breaking down crying over their fight, and then it turns out she's crying because everyone has men, and she feels like the outsider.
She feels ostracized. But that's something to me that you can't really cry over, if that makes sense, because it's like that's out of your control. You know what I'm saying? Like, in essence, it is out of your control.
Right, like you're not in a relationship.
You're not in a relationship. It's that simple. And just so happens that this ensemble cast that she is with all are either in relationships or marriages. So it's just like, I mean, I get those feelings when you're constantly being bombarded with relationship talk. Because, for example, in my household, I'm the single Sally, but I don't cry over being single, because this is where I'd rather be than laid up under some guy. I'd rather be here at AfterBuzz doing my job, honestly. But because you got time to be in relationships. Right now, to be working, you know.
Get to work, bitch.
But so I can kind of see where she's coming from, but I can't fully see that because they're in their 30s or late 20s. Are they in their 30s? I don't know. I don't know their ages, but
yeah, sounds about right.
I can kind of see. I'm gonna say I can see why that would bother her, but I can't relate to it.
And especially in the world that she lives in. I mean, she said, people call me a Jersey chaser. I mean, the idea of it is that your girlfriends are always trying to set you up with somebody in the league. Well,
technically, she did chase that jersey up out of the Instagram party to get that number, to make sure that he had that number. In which case, I look at it, if he was interested, he would have gotten the number before he left. But I wonder, has he called? I really like her. This is Olivia.
I love Olivia. I feel like Olivia and Natalie, I would have a lot of fun with them outside the show. I feel like them and Barbie. I feel like I would have a good time with Barbie. I like
Barbie too.
But they be doing things, or the way it gets cut or edited, it just be making me look like...
I'm glad that they talked it out, though. I'm glad that they talked it out and they agreed that they can work together.
Communication.
Yes, but I still don't feel like that was the root of the issue, honestly. I think it was Natalie's bossiness, because Natalie was me. You know, you just can't work with certain family members and certain friends. Yeah. You just can't.
We see Ashley, Barbie, and Nicole. And Ashley's here talking about how the wedding's off. And
catching
it's just
them up to speed, filling them in about how the and which is... I know that I opened this up by saying that Ashley was the comedic relief. But no, really, Jesse.
She was the comedic relief in Mexico. Like,
right.
We're here, so we already know, girl. Like,
but this period of time, I really did empathize with her, and I agreed with, what's the girl's name? Laura. It was, who was in the scene? It wasn't Sasha. It was
Ashley, Barbie, and Nicole.
I agree with Nicole when she said that he would have to die if Larry did that to her, because it's one thing to have your wedding planned out and have wedding dates set. It's a whole other once invitations and save the date, physical save the dates have went out, and they said 250 people, and she now has to. That is so embarrassing. I imagine that it would be super embarrassing naturally for the bride, and I just get the feeling that Deshaun doesn't care. But that is when I really empathize
Which
with
is
Ashley.
so telling. And it's just kind of like, when you can actually, being with somebody after 11 or 13 years. 11?
I think it's 11.
After being with somebody for 11
or no,
years.
it might be 13. They have an 11-year age gap.
Oh,
remember?
Okay. So, oof.
It's an 11-year age gap, I believe.
No, I don't think so.
I thought it was.
Because I thought they were like high school sweethearts.
No, she said she got... I don't know. Sorry, guys. Don't jump down my throat. I could be wrong.
But I think they were together for 11 years.
She's older than him.
Yes. When you've been with somebody for that long, it kind of gets to a point where if you're into this and you aren't married, 11 years you've been with this person.
You even got Charlie in the mix.
And you're engaged, and then it gets called off, and it's kind of this consistent thing. And then it gets to a point where you have to question, does he care? 11 years into it, that's a question to me. That's a warning. Well, I mean, I feel like it's past a red flag.
It's past a red flag.
But it's kind of like, why are you having this conversation? 11 years, your man should be grown enough to know, like, no, I know what I need to do for my baby, for my family, for my child.
I wonder why he refuses to marry. Because, you know, there are benefits that come with marriage, you know? But I wonder why he refuses to marry her, and then why he would let her, because she stated that she told him before, I guess she went and put the postage on the save the dates, that, you know, this is your last chance, so to speak. Like, I need to know for sure. And he said he agreed. And then the stuff goes out and arrives in our mailboxes, and now she has to go back and revoke that. So that's totally embarrassing. But when Barbie was talking about her wedding, that was very insensitive and inconsiderate. Extremely inconsiderate based on the news that Ashley just dropped.
Now, I thought it was inconsiderate. It's interesting because I thought it was inconsiderate in this specific situation because she had just came to sit down and tell all the tea, and here she is, you know, upset and just going through it. Oh my God, girl, like your $15,000 dress, like just sitting there. And for Barbie to bring it up in that moment and being so excited about it and wanting to go to Mexico and all this, oh, we're going to make it a destination trip and all this stuff. It's like, girl,
very it's you could compare it to someone if friends came together and was like, and someone was, you know, not feeling good about themselves because they might have just gotten laid off or fired, and then you have that friend that just got their job, and it's kind of like, you can't fault Barbie for being excited about her wedding, because that is her right to be excited. But at the same time, as a friend and as someone who just navigates social circles, there is a time and a place to express that. So in theory, if person A gets laid off of their job, but person B just got a new job, it's not your time to bask in that. And that was not Barbie's time to bask in wedding talk and talk about destinations, and it just wasn't.
Nope.
I thought that was so wrong. I really felt for Ashley,
and especially
which is rare.
Yeah, especially because we keep seeing Barbie talking about, you know, how the other girls act and what they do and how inappropriate it is. So in this situation,
this was so inappropriate.
It was just kind of like, and Ashley was looking at Nicole like, "Are you listening to this bitch right now?" All right, so then we get this scene where Olivia and Natalie are shopping, and Sean calls, and he says that he wants to plan this Mexico trip.
No, it's planned.
Oh, it's planned, and her
me
family's
Sean.
coming. Okay.
No, when I say that, I mean in the context of him doing something nice like that. I think Sean is a total asshole. I don't need me a Sean. I think he's a pretentious asshole who has a lot of issues. But
he loves his boo.
As far as a nice gesture like that, I would appreciate if Bae did some things like that. Like, that's nice. That was real. I was like, damn.
Like, you set the whole birthday trip up.
Private jets, got the whole family out to Mexico. That was really nice of him. But go ahead.
So they're gonna go to Mexico, and we see Olivia and Natalie Skyping with their family, and we get to meet some of her brothers.
Gay. I didn't know he was gay, but I wrote down
Two of
in
her
my
brothers
notes.
are gay.
No, one of Olivia's is gay and one of Natalie's is gay.
Oh, okay.
Joel
and Owen.
Yes, I thought Owen specifically on the FaceTime call.
Yeah, because when we saw him in person, I was like, oh.
mm.
Then Joel looked more cute, and I was like, oh.
But the FaceTime call, I was like, Owen is bae. I was also surprised because I know that they kind of blended these scenes together. Are you shocked about Ashley being 26? Because I am. I thought Ashley was, Autumn. I thought Autumn was much older. I don't know if it's the excessive makeup. I thought Autumn was 34. She does look like she could be at least 10 years, like 9. I give her 7 to 9 years older. I also didn't know she was a mother of twins, which I think is really, really cool. But Autumn looks so much older than Autumn is a year younger than me, and she looks 6 years older than me.
And that's not to say that I don't take that as shade, like, because I don't think she looks bad. I think she just looks like a woman, like, been through
I think it's all of the makeup. She may look different if she had more muted makeup, the lashes weren't as extreme, the cut crease wasn't like, if she went natural. It would be interesting to see that. And it might be her dated beliefs, and I know some of y'all may have.
I was just thinking that in my head, though.
Some of the stuff that she says is so problematic to me, and to each his own. But we'll get to that later on in the show.
So we get to Mexico, and we get Barbie talking to Ashley and Autumn about how she wants to check out some wedding venues in Mexico. Now here, I'm not mad at Barbie being excited about her wedding.
Either.
She said this is where she wanted it. It just happens they're there. So I understand her wanting to go look at places. But still, just the type
of person that I am, I want to discuss that in front of Ashley.
It's something like, Autumn, like, girl, you want to do this on the side?
I would have texted Autumn, like, oh, hey, girl, we gonna dip.
Ashley's like, I'm not going to go.
Which is understandable, and they seem shocked by that. You're not going to go? Girl, we get why you're not going to go. This is a constant reminder of your fine ass fiance just doing whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
Then
what was we talking about earlier? Fuck boys.
Yes. And then we what was the next thing?
We got to the wedding venue. And I have to say, talk about a sandals commercial or a Carnival cruise.
Literally, it was
beautiful.
That
was gorgeous. Like, and then for her just describing, I would really like to know their wedding, if she already got married or not, and if she did it
the country singer was coming to sing. I noticed that in my notes in between.
Do hockey players make that much money to be able to afford $500,000 just to rent the venue?
Yeah. On
top of, now you're gonna get a glass stage to cover. That's a big ass pool.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a glass stage for that. That alone, we talking some coin, and then you're talking about you have to rent the chairs, the food. That's a lot of money. Like, we talking about probably about $1 million.
Yeah, literally, which it's not that big of a deal. I mean, wedding ceremonies are big deals, but the money could go. I'd rather have a cheap ceremony, not cheap, but tasteful, ceremony, and really go all out for my honeymoon, honestly.
I feel it.
Like, that's what I'd rather do. But it should be noted that somewhere in those scenes, I don't know, you know how they segue things, Autumn gave what I wrote in my notes as her submission speech. And I can't remember who she was talking to, but it's...
What do you mean by that?
I call it her submission speech. Oh, she was talking to Ashley. That's when Ashley had chicken on her arm, and she's like, "Why do black people like chicken?" That was kind of like around this, right after that scene. And I thought her perspective was just interesting, and just saying, that whatever her man wants, she will give him. And I looked at that as, like I said, her submission speech, and I don't see a problem with that. It's just, she never really went into compromise, because that's how I look at relationships. If I scratch your back, you're going to scratch mine. And it seems very one-sided, but it might be one of those things like, okay, I'm not working, because to my knowledge, Autumn don't have no job.
Right. Her job is to be a housewife.
Right. So that is where I give her the pass, because I could honestly see myself doing that. And I'm, how I am.
But did you take anything out of the comment, the Paula Deen comment too? Because, obviously for me to reference it wouldn't make sense, but for her to have said, But Ashley said, but girl, she dropped the N-word. And she said, I don't care, girl. Like,
yeah, see.
Does that kind of fall into the submissiveness of it, too? Because I just thought that those two topics were interesting
was so stupid.
at the same time. And it kind of is telling for me that you're the type of person to not care as long as you're getting something out of it. As long as
you're benefiting, right. Autumn is all about the come up. That's what she seems like to me. But I thought that was so dumb because, I mean, I'm not here, and of course I can't speak for all black people, but that, no, because you know they'll try to make it that. Right. And I'm speaking solely for myself. I'm not one of those people who, like Paula Deen, I know she's working on her image. She's on Dancing with the Stars now and things like that. Whatever. But that is not something that I would say, girl, yeah, whatever. Because the way that I look at it is she may have had an attachment, which really, really sucks when people tend to be racist. I know my cousin was very upset when the Hulk Hogan thing came out, you know, but there are different things that you could latch to. So that was kind of like puzzling to me because you could admire Paula Deen's recipes, but do you know how many cooking shows and how many celebrity chefs are on the Food Network, on ABC, on the Food Channel, because you know those are two different things. The Cooking Channel, where you can get even the Chew on ABC, where you can get these fantastic recipes. So I don't see why she just put everything in Paula Deen's lap. That I did not understand. And it was interesting seeing Ashley as the mixed girl, seemingly having more issue with Paula's use of the N-word than Autumn, who's, you know, the fully black girl. That was an interesting observation, but not everybody, you know, of color, not everybody, particularly that's black, is the same.
Amen. So we get this yacht scene, which the only thing I really pulled from that, other than they had a good time,
looked like a blast.
Remember last week when when Barbie said she wants to get away from her wrestling image, and then what do we have on the boat? She's
relying on it in order to be social.
Yes.
I also liked how she was really, really. Excuse me, I burped.
Oh, there's soda in there.
Really, really was getting along with Natalie and Olivia and their family, really open to that. Versus, you know, within the last two episodes, what we saw with them kind of not mixing and everything was fine in
like
Mexico.
That when you they say when two people are very similar, they butt heads at the beginning. So I kind of feel like they probably come from similar family lifestyles, and it took her having to be around that to understand them and be like,
because their family seems cool as hell, like a good time family.
I would have had a blast.
I would have had some shish kebabs, and I keep forgetting that they're Native American. I want to make them Middle Eastern so bad. They just give me Los Angeles Middle Eastern family,
Armenian or something,
like a good old time.
So Ashley's upset because while Barbie's having a grand old time, she's still talking about the wedding. Yeah, and Ashley is over it. She wants to go home.
Understandably over it, but she might have been overreacting. Because I mean, that comes with the territory. You cannot mute someone else's happiness. That's up to Ashley to control. Barbie is not, that's not Barbie's responsibility to tone it down just because you're feeling a type of way.
How did you also feel about, well, all right, actually, let me ask that when we get to it. So we get to the dinner scene.
Oh, Lord.
Well, actually, before we get to the dinner scene, I thought it was also kind of, I don't even know what the word is to pull out that I want to use, but when Autumn said to Ashley, I'm sure Deshaun does everything that you want him to do.
Oh yeah, that piggybacked off of
the Paula Deen
submission speech, because she says she does everything that her man wants, and for her to, I get that was like a slip up, but that's why she said to an extent. That's how she covered it up, to an extent. Which I know is kind of like nails on a chalkboard to Ashley, because that man don't do nothing she asked him to do. He didn't even dress up as the damn clown for little Charlie's birthday party when Hot Dog on a Stick was there.
Bye. So we get to the dinner, and then Sean starts getting into this conversation
I do not
about
like Sean.
Black people and them liking chicken.
Okay, so
and
that what I put in my notes. I felt like him and Autumn from jump were microaggressive to one another, because to lead into this, the brothers Natalie and Olivia's gay brothers were talking about how they came out, how their grandfather was accepting, and how they dealt with it in the church. So then Natalie takes that to the table and just, talked about the church. Natalie didn't have the language to use because she said that she's atheist, but she's not atheist. I think the term is agnostic. And agnostic is when you believe in a higher power, but you don't necessarily subscribe to a religion.
Atheist is I do not.
I don't, right. And so that's basically what she described. I believe in a higher power, but I don't necessarily have a name for it. I wouldn't necessarily call it Jesus Christ. Which a lot of people, I feel like that's the way the world is, not to get too, but I feel like that's what a lot of, especially millennials, are separating themselves from religion for a myriad of different reasons. But Autumn made it very, very clear that she and her family are very religious. They depend on their faith for a lot of things, and to each his own. But when Natalie was talking about her being agnostic, that is when Sean stood up and said, "I am your Jesus Christ." Isn't that what he said?
Well, he came out to say, oh, you hate watermelon and you hate chicken, so can you swim?
Yeah. See, it was just micro, and she's like, and even Autumn was like, duh, which she didn't have to do. She could have been like, yeah, I can swim. What you mean by that? But she was just like, duh.
But it was kind of like, she just said she didn't like watermelon. So then he turned into, oh, you don't like watermelon
so you
and
must
chicken.
Can't swim.
So
but she likes chicken.
No, I know, and that's why she's sitting there. She's like, just because I don't like watermelon doesn't mean I can't swim. Doesn't mean I can't. Yeah, he's an instigator. But then he came out to say, I'm not racist.
But you know what? Hold on, Jesse. Hold on, because my issue with Sean, and this is not to get too deep, but Sean strikes me as one of those black men who has issues with black women.
Oh my God, that's so funny you said that, because I really didn't know how to just kind of phrase it.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting to me that I've been in multiple situations where I'll see, and it usually happens when the black male is dating a white female or someone that is not a black female, and a black female will come into the equation, and typically in the situations I've been involved with, she's single. So this was interesting that it was a married woman, but the argument and the friction start happening, and I wonder if some of it stems from seeing him with somebody who isn't helping him benefit, like
maybe
because
he
a
has
lot of the
mommy
argument
issues.
comes to
maybe
you're just with the bitch
black.
that's not trying to build you up, she's using you, leeching you.
Call it out. I think he might have mommy issues, but I know it's very, very popular, especially, I'm kind of like I'm very, very aware. If any of you all follow me on my social media, I'm very, very active and aware with social injustice and things like that, and I don't take kindly to male chauvinists or anti-blackness and things like that. Like, you can't get away with that dealing with a girl like me. And I'm not the aggressive, angry black woman, but I know how to call a thing when I see it. And that's what I see in Sean, especially for him to phrase after Autumn replied and say, I'm not racist.
Yep. No one was saying you're racist.
But to be racist would imply that you are not a part of the same race as me. We both are black. Be clear. Sean is a black man. Autumn is a black woman. So the language that he used, you all have to pay attention to that. For him to say, I'm not racist to a black woman and he's a black man, that makes no sense. That doesn't add up.
He takes himself out of the equation.
Exactly. So what are you trying to say, Sean? Do you not identify with being black? Because you walking down the street, people see a black man, no matter how many Olivia Natalies or whoever else that you're dating.
Like you, in your context, chicken, watermelon, and can't swim.
And grape soda and can't swim. So I didn't like that, because off top, it seemed like he was being aggressive to Autumn, and it appeared, I don't know if it was the way it was edited, but it appeared as if Autumn was minding her damn business, and he just kind of jumped in there, and I don't know why he targeted her. Maybe because she was the darkest one, even though she's still light-skinned, she was the darkest black woman.
Well, I wonder if because he's cool with her husband, and maybe he felt like that.
He's an asshole.
But yeah, so he came out to say, I'm the Jesus Christ on this earth. Sean Sheezus Jesus. I'm the person who gives you everything.
Trash. And I love that Autumn ended up eventually bringing it up, because what I was telling Jesse off camera when we were in the screening room watching this is that we all know that it's tacky to discuss religion and politics in public spaces. And I just think that whether you subscribe to Christianity or not, or you're a Buddhist or not, or whatever you may believe in, you don't make those kind of tasteless jokes like that, because it can be very offensive to some people, and you cannot police people's reaction by saying, oh, Autumn's overreacting, because you don't know what her faith or what her religion means to her to say that she overreacted, because she was offended. And a lot of people watching who subscribe to the Christian faith probably were offended too.
My mother would,
because that's the top figurehead in Christianity. That is the top. That's the head. Jesus is the head honcho in Christianity. So I didn't like that comment. Sean seems, like I said, I keep calling him an asshole because I believe that he is a pretentious asshole who has issues with black women. So go ahead, Jesse.
Interesting. So Autumn is on a phone at dinner, and Natalie feels like because she's on the phone, it's taking away from, you know, her situation.
Which, again, she's minding her business and she's being mature. I looked at that as being mature because it would have been immature for her to get up and leave, even though someone could argue that it would be mature if he was bothering her, you know, for her to remove herself from the situation. But her, in essence, being in her phone is removing her from the situation.
But she also has kids, and like they know
infants,
this, and so
infants.
To do that, it's kind of like,
and we know how much her family means to her, so she might have been checking in.
But they also don't have kids; they don't have a family lifestyle, so I understand they don't get that. But that's, to me, ignorant on their behalf to not take that into consideration.
She can be in her phone if she feels like she's being bothered, which she obviously did. Everyone at that table
Sean
got
whispered in Natalie's ear talking about, I want to cuss her out. You want to cuss a
fuck
female?
Boy. He's a fuck boy.
So Natalie,
I don't like cursing on air, but I mean,
girl, I do. Natalie goes and talks to Autumn, and she said, I felt like you didn't make an effort to hang out or talk to my family.
Trash.
Autumn says, I can't deal with this. She said, I have a family at home. Now, this is where I was kind of like a little bit with Autumn, because she said
she was dismissive. You have to address it. She was very dismissive of Natalie's point.
Yeah, well, and she sugarcoated it with like, I'm here, you know, I came here for you to celebrate your birthday,
and threw it on Ashley. Ashley's going through things, and
but
things
we
like
aren't
that.
here. This isn't a vacation for you and Ashley to get away from Ashley's problems. I understand that's what you made it. So say that's what you made this trip. It really wasn't about the birthday
but don't
situation.
Deflect. Be honest and say, you know, well, you know, your man made me uncomfortable, which she did end up saying. And I didn't like Natalie making excuses. Oh, you don't know his personality. He just likes messing with people. Sean is an instigator, and he is a pot stirrer, and he is an antagonizer.
He gives me Peter from Real Housewives.
And he's worse
than Peter, though, yeah.
Peter just wants to be part of the conversation.
He's Peter with no manners.
But he is just, I just didn't like that. And for her to make that excuse, she shouldn't even feel comfortable. I mean, I get that the gifts are great, but she, in my opinion, shouldn't even feel comfortable dating a grown-ass man who behaves in that manner, because that is extremely juvenile to say, you know, oh, you don't know his personality, he just likes messing with people. No. If you see that someone is getting uncomfortable, why would you wreck, and we're here for my birthday, you as my man, why would you wreck the atmosphere? Leave it alone.
But going back
Stop poking a sleeping bear, so to speak.
But going back to what Autumn was talking about with pleasing your man, here we see Natalie in a situation where, submission. But in a situation where, from an outsider, you look at the situation, it's like, well, Natalie, that's your man. Check your man, who's talking ish to this girl here, your guest, who was invited on here. She hasn't said anything disrespectful or rude.
She did not.
So in that sense of it, you know, you see Natalie kind of going that submissive. And then also, what did you think about the part where they're talking about
Natalie was very dismissive.
Gifts?
But hold on, she was very dismissive when she said, "Why are we even talking about my man?
Yep.
We're talking about my man because we're talking about your man because that's my issue. We just had a full conversation, but because you feel socially backed into a corner because you've ran out of excuses to hurl at me, it's become this. You've taken it to this route. Like, why are we even talking about him?" When they were talking about the gifts, are you talking about when they were all?
Why are we talking about this? Because you came to my room to talk about this.
What was I asleep on that part?
Remember, Autumn was in her room, and that's when Natalie came to her.
Yes.
Hey, girl, can we talk?
Yeah, she felt like she was being distant from her family. But in fairness, it did seem like Barbie was the only one who really let her hair down.
Well, because to me, I felt like Ashley was just a Drano. Like, she just didn't
want to be around. Girl, go on.
No, you know what I'm saying? But think about it. Autumn's gonna be babysitting her friend.
Yeah.
Ashley, and Ashley's just probably sitting over at the bar like, you know.
Yeah.
So, I could see if Ashley didn't go, Autumn and Barbie would have been very interactive. So we get Olivia, And she says, how much of a buzzkill was Autumn? Again, let's look at the situation with what Sean said. And out of Sean's mouth instantly was, well, maybe she has PMS. You know what? I should give her a peace offering gift. I should go bring her a tampon.
I'm leaving. I'm kidding. I would never leave, you guys. Got to finish the show. Sean, he turns my stomach. And for him to say that and no one to check him, that is not okay.
No, but sorry, you just don't understand his personality.
It's getting my blood boiling to see him in that comfortable state. Like, how do you view women? Like, that's such a Donald Trump fuckboy thing to say. I'm going to give her a tampon as a peace offering. So you're assuming that just because she had an issue with your problematic comments, calling yourself Jesus Christ, that she has to be on her period? Because everybody just got to have a good time and laugh at Sean's trash ass jokes. Are you kidding me?
Well, he feels he's a comedian.
No, you stick to what you know, sir. And what you know is running that pigskin up and down the field. That's what you know. Isn't he a football player? Yeah. That's what you know. You're not a comedian. You're not, Bernie Mac. God rest his soul. He was one of the greats. But you're not Bernie Mac. So you need to stay in your lane. And that quote unquote joke just made it, even when you just repeated it, made my skin crawl. And the fact that no one checked him and everybody just was kind of like, pissed me off even more. Because you don't say that. That's such a Trump ass thing to say. Like, how dare you?
Yeah, that was very
How dare
Trump.
you? And then how dare you say, I think he tried to justify it by saying, I call myself Jesus because I believe in myself. That is not how the conversation was presented, and that is not how the conversation was broken down in front of Autumn. And tried to almost make it appear as if she was overreacting.
But also as a man, and you throw a party for your girl, and her friend comes on a trip. This is just telling of how everyone really feels about each other. In my mind, I feel like my man should have gone to Autumn's room and had a conversation with her and apologized or given.
That's the noble thing to do. That would be the
but
noble
instead,
common
your girl
sense.
had to go down.
And you sit up here cackling with the girls, trying to read and roast Autumn. No, that's not. And that,
we're not here for it.
No, I hated that comment.
So Natalie lighten the mood up. She had her brother show us what a baked ham is. It's when you basically moon a glass window and flatten your ass against the glass.
Really quickly, before you finish that, I forgot to mention, this is before we leave this topic, I forgot to mention how Sean mentioned that Autumn was judgmental.
Oh. Because
y'all watch the episode,
she doesn't like watermelon, loves chicken,
and she didn't appreciate your Jesus joke, so she's judgmental now. I hate when people use the wrong adjectives or do not have the proper language to properly express their opinions. That girl was not judging your ass. She just didn't agree with what you were saying, nor did she think your Jesus joke. As someone who is solidified in her Christian faith, she didn't think that joke was funny, and I thought it was tacky. Just saying, it has nothing to do with judging, but whatever nurses your wounds, whatever makes you go to sleep at night, Sean, whatever BS excuse you come up with to make Autumn seem like the crazy one. I don't like that. And then you say he knows her husband and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what it looked like from.
He shouldn't even be that comfortable. Okay, seriously.
So then we get into this conversation where their sister asks what the difference between a top and a bottom is.
Oh, talking about she didn't know. It's literally
top, bottom.
Top and bottom. You're talking about gay sex. Top and bottom. It is as clear as the sky is blue. It is as dark as the sky is night. What do you need definition on? And I love how they said Natalie was the top and Sean was the bottom. Because I agree.
You saw how mad he got. But that's what you get for saying she was the top.
I agree.
You even owned up that she the top.
You
so
didn't
I'm
even
just
say
wondering,
you reversed, Sean.
Because I know some of these boys out here, they be liking a little licky.
How they do it? As Wendy would say, how they do it?
But that's for kitchen table conversation.
But yeah, that was just so dumb. And then everybody went skinny dipping, really, and.
Yeah, okay. There's too many sharks in the water, y'all. All right, so then we get the scene of Autumn back with her man, and she's just happy to be home. And she just tells him that Sean is annoying and she has anxiety about Philly. And now this show was so boring to me. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
Tonight's episode, I just went to walk out. But now I would be interested to see if Autumn's man and Sean end up in a situation to have a conversation.
I would love that.
Because it don't need to be a fight. It don't need to be a fight, just a check.
I'm not one for violence, but I would love to see Sean get his... No, I don't want to say that because I don't advocate for violence.
A good conversation, a good read
stern
down, you know what I mean?
Reading, a good stern talking to. You're not about to disrespect my girl.
Yeah. Thank you. And you know what I mean? From Autumn's beliefs, I'm assuming her man has a very strong belief system too.
She did say that.
On that note, let's head into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Special guest Christina Milian.
Who?
Christina Milian, you doing a big girl out here. You on East Los High. You out here on WAGS.
Christina, how are you doing? You know, I read the reports of you and Wayne splitting. Hope you're holding up okay, sis. I went to her birthday party last year at the Supper Club, ironically. She was pretty nice. That's when I first met and fell in love with Karuchi before she started getting on my nerves through the media. That's another story for another day.
Karuchi. Sasha reveals the sex of her baby because that's about as interesting as we're getting with her storyline.
Why is Sasha Alicia Keys looking one?
Yeah.
I don't like her. She's so boring.
P.S. Did you hear Alicia Keys' new song?
I didn't, but I saw her new Levi's commercial. And she just threw a banging party for Swiss Beats. I saw pictures from Ty Hunter, Beyonce's stylist. He went. I saw on his Instagram. I guess it was Swiss Beats' birthday.
Happy birthday, Swiss. Sean and Natalie looking for a new house, and she wants
a $9 million house. Did you see that view? I don't think I've ever been up that high in LA.
That was real
like I've
cute.
Seen, you know, but that view was killer.
She wants I get Olivia why she's sticking up for her man.
Listen, no shade, girl. Me too. I just don't like them, but no shade.
I feel it, girl. $9 million. She wants a room in the house for Olivia, and Sean is like, hell no.
Yeah.
And I agree with Sean in this sense because it's just like, that's crazy. I mean, like, we can have a guest room, but
she does not need her own room. But you know what I didn't like? And I don't know if you're leading into this, but I didn't like how Sean gave her an ultimatum because typically family always wins. I don't know if you all have ever been in that situation. Thankfully, I haven't, because I don't even think if a man tried to give me that ultimatum that he'd be even able to finish his sentence before I made my decision.
Okay.
Typically, when you give people ultimatums, basically saying it's either going to be your cousin or your brother or whomever or me, you're going to get left right there. Typically.
Yeah.
And even if she does theoretically side with him, eventually he's going to get left right there.
Yeah. Because look how close her family is with her.
And her and Olivia, or her and Nat, which one is this?
Her and Olivia.
I get them mixed up all the time. Sorry, guys. Her and Olivia are clearly, glued at the hip. Mm-hmm. So you can't throw out something like that saying, well, eventually you're going to have to choose. No, because relationships are all about compromise. Sean, you would know that if you knew what the hell you were doing. So you cannot tell someone to choose between their cousin or you, because that is just the biggest pile of BS I've ever heard. But it doesn't surprise me coming from a male chauvinist. Like Sean.
So then we get this other scene, which I'm just looking at this like, this is going to be bullshit. Barbie sees Sheldon's hockey bag in the foyer, and she's like,
right, who sent that?
Is he done? Is his career over? I don't think that is anything. I think that's just a stretched out storyline. And then last but not least, we get Nicole. Her agency's upset with her because they feel like she's not focused on booking enough work, and that might cause trouble because she wants more time with Larry and she wants to move down to Florida. So, and
they're trying to give her jobs, but I mean, I imagine that has to be a tough situation to be in because she never already doesn't see Larry, right. Which I don't know, this may sound crazy, and don't judge me, but that sounds kind of ideal for me. I don't know if that's just my personality or my zodiac, but there's something I feel like I'd keep the love going if he had a busy schedule and I had a busy schedule, but every time we saw each other, it was all the more special. I don't do good with being laid up or booed up all the time. That's just my personality. I'm very Miranda Hobbs for all my Sex and the City fans out there. I'm very Miranda Hobbs. And I'm affectionate, but I think I would take full advantage of that. If I was busy with AfterBuzz and doing other TV spots and my man was an athlete, I think I'd be.
Well, that's what she wanted originally, and now it's kind of like, okay, well, now I kind of want.
Right. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but I'm saying I think.
But I feel like that's how you start a relationship. It's smooth, easy. You live in your life. She live in her life.
But she's hitting a rock and a hard place.
Because honey, it's gonna come. It will come to an ultimatum. Do you want the family or do you want
the career? And unfortunately, Hollywood is fickle like that. And unfortunately, a lot of the times people have to choose. That's just what it boils down to. Or if you're blessed enough, you have people in your team or in your circle working for you where you can find a healthy balance. But a lot of the times, if we're going to keep it real with y'all, that is what it boils down to. Do you want to start a family and get married, or do you want to, how bad do you want to be an actress? Yep. We need 150% of your attention and your time and your dedication. And right now, this ain't the time to be getting knocked up.
Unless you're a man or rider. On that note, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit us up at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, subscribe to us on iTunes. Rate us 5 stars. Leave us a comment, and you guys can also tweet me at DJ Jesse J.
You can reach me as Shar Says So on everything. That is Twitter, that's Instagram, and that's Facebook. Shar Says So, all S's. And you can also visit sharsaysso.com for all my details. And check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Shar Says So.
Boom. Till next week, same time, same place. Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.